angels can serve as a bridge to those who are not yet fully committed or ready for that commitment to God.
Exactly.
Now, what does God mean to you?
Well, there's many different, I use many words when I
mean, simple, because you are so simplified in what you and what you outpour and your understanding. You make it so simple for everybody. What does
God is light, God is love. When I use certain words in my meditation and prayer, God is the all consciousness, is consciousness in all living things. There's also a scientific perspective on that. God is the atom. God is the highest form of vibration in every living thing. God is the prime creator. We are each a creator, and there are many types of creator. The earth is a creator, the sky is a creator, and the earth, God is the prime creator. There's also an idea that God is creation, and God is the universe.
Absolute. Okay, now, if I was to ask you, how do you discern when your human side is working toward making a choice for the highest and best good for you? How does a human side discern from the angelic expression of the Christ in you?
Well, there's a very simple tool that I use, and there are two absolutes in this world, or in this universe, rather. There is negative and there is positive, and negative is a fear base and positive is a love base. If you tap into anything that is positive, it will be of love, and if you tap into anything that is negative, it will be of fear. Another way that I recognize divine working through me is that if I have a desire, which we should usually act not out of desire but out of our heart, but if we have desire and I wish to know where that desire resides, I just decide, is this a desire of my material, physical, or flesh self?
Yes.
Or is this a desire of my highest potential, my greatest good? And if it is of a flesh bondage, the bondage of flesh, if this is something my hand and mouth desires, therefore I know that it is most likely not of my divine need.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you determine above the sense consciousness.
Most certainly the senses are a defier of reality. That's when we become most pure, is after we make our transition from life into post-life, or some people call it death. When we make that transition, our senses are removed, and when we remove our senses, we become suddenly extremely aware, where we were, where we are going, and what it was we intended to do. And what happens when we come into this earth body is we happen to become so absorbed by our material five senses, that we totally forget what our intentions were when we came.
So what I'm hearing you say is, when we wake up and remember who we really are,
who we really
Halo.
are. Feel those words.
Yeah, feel those words.
You really are who you intended to be and become.
Yes.
And I think that the angel within us, or the higher vibrations, or the angel, I think that once you absorb that in for the concept that it is, you wake to that internal God, that internal being that will operate your life in divine order.
Quite interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
If there was one question that you came here prepared to answer, what would that question be?
The question I'm prepared to answer to anyone is that, regardless of how out of order things seem to be, and how our world seems to be collapsing in on us at any given time, God will always step in and never let us completely self-destroy. And you can look at that as a personal level, self-mutilating, self-hating, self, or you can look at it as a global level, atomic warfare. God will step in before we take ourselves to that crucial level of self-hate.
So would you say that there's a discovery in recovering?
Most certainly.
And uncovering God's beauty?
And the divinity of it all.
Yes.
Because there is reason for everything, because if it is, then it is meant to be. And if it isn't, then it wasn't meant to be. And therefore you have to accept everything around you for what it is at face value, and name it and claim it as your own, because there is no separation.
No separation at all. So then how do you think that our angels ministry, or an angel ministry, will help to serve in world peace?
As people awaken, and this is a time of awakening where that light of the dawn is coming around, I would say that Jesus Christ was one of the initial, I guess,
Yes,
in our understanding of history, the initial recognition of the light coming into earth and coming forth, and we are the light coming forth, and each of us is awakening within ourselves the living Christ. And this angel network, where we are here now, will be a catalyst for all those that we touch and for all those that touch the people that we touch. There's a concept in the world, or in the universe even, that there are only 6 degrees of separation between each individual. And between you and me, we have 0 degrees of separation.
Yes.
And out there, when I leave this world, I only have so many degrees of separation from each person that crosses me in my daily life. And it makes you, once you start calculating, I was calculating this the other day, I am only 1 degree separated from Gandhi. If I really look at it from the whole perspective, I'm only 1 degree separated from Elvis Presley. You know, if you really want to, you know, want to get down to brass tacks. So therefore, when we are driving around in our cars and we are looking around, you know, there is no separation in the end, and we need to keep that in the forefront of our mind, that there is one energy flowing through all things, and that is love, and that is God, and we are all God.
And that's good all the time. Yes. Can you imagine? Imagine that your part is in creating this one world, one dream, the spirit of unity.
That is my dream. Unity, Christ.
Yes.
That's why I belong to that church. It's
I do.
it is the movement of the modern era. The Christ is the consciousness, unity is the concept. We should be moving to that. You know, my theory, in my vision of my daily life, and the vision I hold to keep me moving along and about, is that at a certain point in Earth's history, we will come to the realization that we need to operate everything off of unconditional love, and that includes our technology, our material uses of, you know, and our food and everything.
Elaborate on that. In your personal life, what are you working on other than the internal knowledge that you have? I mean, what is your lifestyle? What is your daily living habits? What are you practicing?
My practicing, I make eye contact with every person that I come in contact with.
Yes, you do.
I smile with every person that I smile at. And I am constantly reminding people that they are an angel, that they are beautiful, and that they are loved and loved.
You do. You do that quite well.
Thank you.
Very well. And thank you. Well, Dustin, there's always so much to say. As an angel assisting me here today on my spiritual path and everyone else out there, what are your plans?
My plans at this time are to go to China, to study the Eastern philosophy under an ancient healer, to visit the largest pyramids in the world, which are underground in China. I understand through what knowledge we do have Christ is that he spent time in the East, and he studied under the Eastern philosophy before returning and living his word. And I think that that's kind of where I am in my life right now. I'm 22 years old, and I am...
When do you think you're going to do this? When are you doing this?
Relatively soon.
Relatively soon.